Okay, thank you. And Mike and Pahora, do you have any other testifiers?
Yes, ma'am, we have 2 more testifiers.
Okay, you can bring those forward.
Our first of those 2 will be Miss Joyce Polena, representing herself. She will be speaking in resolution 5-4 and commenting on bill number 25. So just let me know when you transition.
I will.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. Hear me all right?
No, we're having trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Maybe just hold it
I'm
up.
not sure what we can do about it. We've been having trouble all day, but
You better?
yes?
It is? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I hold this thing.
Okay,
Okay, here we go.
all right.
Okay. I'm in absolute 113% support of Councilwoman Margaret Willie's bill 452-14. And I must say, to assuage my conscience, if for nothing else, and in support of Councilwoman Margaret Willie, that I feel that Mr. Kenoi addressing her at the previous committee meeting was rude and uncalled for in the manner that he addressed her. That said, I feel that this proposition of an incinerator is an insult to all of us living here and visiting here in this beautiful island, and that we have such better choices in the realm of RRC, reuse, recycle, compost. We have enough time to increase our recyclable materials up to 75% of our solid waste product. We don't need to rush into an incinerator. I think that was shabai. 35% is quoted by Mr. Kenoi, where we're at now at RRC, reuse, recycle, compost. That can be raised up by a previous speaker's reference to how this is being done in San Francisco. We can have these recyclable containers all over the island, everywhere. Everywhere you go to a store, you can have these containers ready so that if you accumulate them at home, all you can do is put them in your car, do your shopping, drop your recyclables, and go on with your business. As far as wasting compost resource, which is a resource, it's not to be turned into incinerators. This composting, mulching resource is so valuable for us to have and produce and to promote good, healthy soils, healthy, live soils. Could only get good food from good soil. Any farmer, any 6-year-old would be able to tell you this. So I feel that the perception about the public with Mr. Kenoi pushing this so hard, why is he pushing this? What are his reasons? And he said it's because we're running out of time, 30 seconds. We're running out of time and the landfill's filling up. That's why we need reuse, recycle, compost. Please, members of this council, don't be intimidated by the mayor's presumption that he holds sway. He doesn't hold sway. He is our public servant as you are our public servant. Please don't be influenced by the manner and the presentation of the mayor. Thank you. I'll move on, yes, thanks, to Bill 25. You know, at first glance, because I'm not well educated into this matter of agro-tourism, thank you. But listening to the testifiers on both sides of the issues here, and there are many issues connected with this bill. I personally, very selfishly, would prohibit, with everything that I have, would prohibit my neighbors from subjecting me to the terms of this bill. Would they want to have that type of agro-tourism, their property? All of our subdivisions here in Puna are in ag land, and they have variances. I don't want 5,000 people tramping down my street per year to go to my neighbor's house, keeping me awake. Please, this bill is a bad bill. I signed in opposed to it. I changed it to, I want to discuss it. After hearing the testimony, I'm opposed to this bill in its present form. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our final testifier for now is Mr. Gregory Smith, representing himself, who will be speaking in support of Resolution 452-14 and in opposition to Bill number 25.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Council. I think everything about this bill has been, or this resolution has been said, and I fully support it. The main factor is that this is just stupid technology. The only thing I'm going to add is experience that I had living in southern Maine in a town called Biddeford, it's a mouth of the Saco River, and that a town up was named Biddeford. Somehow or another, Cumberland County, Maine, and the city of Biddeford,
Can you pick your microphone up and speak? Thank you.
Is that better, Madam Chair?
Yes.
All right. Biddeford, Maine, it's on the Saco River and in Cumberland County. I was living there on the mouth of the Saco River in a place called Biddeford Pool in a fishing community there. The main thing is that somehow or another, Weaver and other developers unswoggled the people of Cumberland County, Maine, and Biddeford to put in waste to energy plant in Biddeford. It lasted approximately 6 years. That's it. What happened is that they brought their waste to this plant, supposedly to be burned. Unfortunately for this waste burning plant is that southern Maine is much like windward Hawaii. It's very wet. So they tried to burn this wet rubbish. That didn't work. And then in the winter, the rubbish would freeze, so they couldn't burn very much of it. And then in the thaw in the springtime, this rubbish would melt, and then it would go into the river. A river that people in that area have been trying to clean up for years. I mean, the irony of it is, it was a complete boondoggle, waste of money. What the community had to do ultimately was to go into a reuse, recycle and reduce and compost type of situation. And the fact of the matter is, wait a minute,
We can stop your time.
Okay, thank you. That's all right. I just have one more thing to say. All right, the point of the matter is that this has been happening since this type of technology has been introduced in this country all around. I mean, this stupid technology, I have absolutely no, understanding of why Mayor Kenoi or anybody would want to put in an incinerator here. We have a long way to go, get to a point where we don't, we run out of options for our recycling. And the other thing too is I do consider Mayor Kenoi's behavior at this, at the committee shocking, and it was just absolutely unprofessional and unneeded. Again, I echo my partner. Don't let idiot intimidate you. I mean, I felt that his whole demeanor was that of a bully and an intimidator. Maybe it should work for two. Thank you so much. Moving on to Bill 25. Absolutely not. It's a bad bill. It's just mishmash. It's rubbish. I mean, it's the system that we have set up today, the laws that we have right now on the books are far better than Bill 25. And the fact of the matter is that if nothing else, you're going to increase the idea that the income level should be like about 75% as opposed to 50% as far as income derived from agriculture, in my opinion. So please no to Bill 25.
Sir, you?
Thank you. So I think the only site that still has testifiers would be Hilo. Stephanie?
Our next testifier is Kim Pinkerton.
Thank you, council, and thank all of the people who showed up to testify today. It's fantastic to see that everybody is turning out. Thank you. I'm glad we have concerned citizens. To begin, I'd like to say the road to the council seat is nothing to scoff at, for you have managed against the odds to gain the trust of your constituents, not an easy project we see here in the election cycle. We who voted for you have confidence that you will serve us with integrity. We, the people, do not have time to scrutinize your every decision. Even though we know to get elected, you must walk a fine line on a slippery path of greed and deception. While I grapple with the cost of a much-needed haircut, the same week that I pay over $1,000 in taxes, you routinely gaze into a net full of red herring and decide the fate of our grandchildren's debt load. It is easy to be inspired when due diligence is commonplace in your life. It is rewarding for us to find inspiration while looking into the eyes of an honest politician. Please restore my faith in our government. As far as the incinerator and Margaret Willey, I am much in favor of Margaret. I agree with most of the testimony, pretty much all of the testimony in regard to Bill 452-14. I am in favor. Some of you and Billy really want to make this incinerator thing happen for some reason. Ask yourself this question: is there any chance of potential kickbacks from suppliers of greenways, contractors, unions, or anyone else on this deal? Is there the potential for someone to make a lot of money? The answer is yes. I sat down and did a good bit of research. I emailed that to you about 2 o'clock this morning, I believe. The results are in that email, and I highly recommend you take a look at it. The compelling thing in my research showed me that in almost all these research cases, when you look up city corruption, we had 80,100,000 results. It becomes obvious that corruption in these types of matters is more common than not. It really does matter if something is going on. What matters is the integrity of you and this council. If you are absolutely sure that this is a good deal for the county, and there is without a shadow of a doubt nothing fishy going on, you will never need to apologize to anyone for your actions. I am not accusing anyone of anything. I am just referencing the fact that in today's world, these types of things do happen. Further, the possibility of corruption is tempting when big money deals like this incinerator are on the table. Also, I would like to point out that I am in favor of Bill 25. However, obviously there are some problems with the exact dialogue in the bill. I do like any tools that are given to us farmers to give us an opportunity to enhance our revenue stream. I think it's interesting that people say, I don't want to see agritourism because when I come home to my farm for my regular job, isn't that saying I can't make enough money at my farm under the current rules to actually make a living? Give me some tools so I can make a living on my farm. That's what I want. I know it is complicated. Thank you for your time.
Our next testifier is Mark Neff, and he has several items to speak on. Can you let me know when you transition to?
Sure can.
Okay.
Excuse me. Resolution 452-14 you know, the government's gonna have to maximize the compostables because I think private maximization of these same compostables has been achieved pretty much. That's an education issue. And, you know, it's simply a time issue for most people. Am I gonna compost or am I gonna do something that's a little bit more, you know, immediate to my family needs? In the long run, sure, family needs compost, but, you know, let's be real. That's about a minute, and that's all I or anyone else is due, is a minute. So we'll move on to another minute for the resolution 464-14 draft 2. You know, this looks for all the world like a warmed over, reworked, retread, revisit, what was it, Bill 95 or Bill 195 in the year 2000? Shipment Limited, state's largest landowner at that time, wanted to build a residential and commercial thing in this location. In the Mauka section of this, Mauka Volcano Highway in Cal. That's seems to be scaled down quite a bit. Just pointing that out, it's a different way to go about when their rezoning requests were shot down repeatedly in the early 2000s. That's about a minute. Let's move on to a minute on Bill 25, Draft 2, and Communication 73.8, Ag Tourism. This is another revisit and several time revisit. And, you know, obviously it needs, you know, regulating and promoting as well. I think this is a niche of the tourism that we would like, you know, to support. But as far as the, you know, barn dances and stuff, there are nuisance laws. And, you know, I'm no expert on ag tourism. I certainly worked enough in agriculture and in tourism, but not in that niche of the combination of the two. So, I don't think that's a minute. But let's just move on to Bill 265. Spoke to it in committee now that Leo Hawaii Incorporated, 37.5K donation to broadcast these meetings. You know, I didn't revisit the files enough to locate when they started doing this, but I actually think it was around 175,000 when they started doing it. So I may have misspoke when I said this is 50% or less than the former figure. That was understating it. It would probably be more like 20%. And Naleo Hawaii, well, on this side is channel 53, 54, and 55. This is a great resource in the community of free speech, creativity, and just sharing information. Now, if you notice, it's not all local producers that are trained by Naleo. Anyone can submit programs, providing they're technically compliant, which is pretty easy to do. And you can see the propaganda that's shipped in from off island. And I'm not saying anything against the religious programs or political programs, but you can easily tell what's made here and what is produced more on a commercial level of production values and imported for our consumption. Jürgen Benecke started it, you know, it's just grown and it's established now as to what it is. It's really just a treasure of the community. Now might need the 3 minutes on this last item, the report, Finance Committee 180, Communication 924, nomination of Ms. Barber as Bond Commission. Obviously a very qualified, extremely qualified nominee, who I believe would like to be fully informed on the full history of the Pond Commission. There was an existing law for acquiring conservation properties by the county, and people just hijacked that and expanded it 100%, and then another 100% above that, and now another 50%. And this written communication I have from July 17th morning to you, yesterday morning, nice 4 pages on the actual lobbying group that engineers all this. Despite around 2 months ago, your Southern Council member, Southern District Council member was volunteering in some committee, I believe, that her and her administrative assistant, now the District 8 Pond Commissioner, had created this. All they created was an expansion, and a further expansion, and a further expansion above that. And as of about 2.5 weeks ago, I furnished you with state documents showing that they spent over $30,000, never registered with the county. So that's right around 111 times the county limit for lobbying. They registered with the state, full disclosure. They obviously are lobbyists. And the lobbying has continued in subsequent elections. I know in 2010, I know for a fact it went over the county limit, no registration. Even after becoming a pond commissioner, the District 8 pond seat person, Save Our Land Citizens Committee campaign coordinator, continued with her lobbying, even before you numerous times, and on her website. And I just feel like the pond commission is tainted. I've exposed the same $13 million in purchases that the property manager was outlining in, 2.5 weeks ago. It was done through fraudulent means, and it's proven. I mean, it took 12 days or less for the vice chair of Pond to resign. So, basically what it all comes down to is, yes, it benefits everyone. And just in closing, say yes, everyone benefits from Pond. Especially beneficial to rich people to unload their spec properties that they bought, unable to sell, and now they can get the taxpayers to buy them for full market value. And it benefits middle-class virgin property owners by inflating and propping up their property values. But you know what? The poor people, their kids have to go somewhere else besides Hawaii to live because of stuff like this. And in that respect, it's very much an anti-local program. And these facts are self-apparent. And I have a whole lot more things I could say to show that Pond is a very troubled program.
Well, I'm sorry. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Our next testifier is Jesse Hilo.
Hello, council members. I'm here in support of Resolution 452-14. Just giving a little background, I was an operations manager for the second largest franchise of the first largest private waste management company in the mainland that was not municipally related, working in 5 counties in Marin County, California, and bringing our waste to the Marin County Resource and Recovery Center, which has a 76% diversion rate. We specifically moved our trucks to that location instead of Redwood Landfill Center or South San Francisco Landfill Center because of the efficiency of diversion that they were able to accommodate there at that facility. I know that in this certain county council members have visited that facility back in 2007 to understand its capability. And that capability is expressly available to us here in Hawaii in a integrated diversion and recycling structured plan, which this incineration plan is the antithesis to. I actually started my business. I'm here representing myself and Sustainable Island Products and all of the customers that I have here on this island in Maui, Hawaii, and Molokai. Over 600 customers are being served with compostable food service supplies, which I implemented into the market here, specifically as an answer to the prior proposed 2007 waste incineration plan. I actually created this business as a response to that, to create a precedent and provide metrics to show that diversion was capable by taking styrofoam and plastics out of the single-use disposable stream and replacing them with compostable, plant-based food service products. And those products are safe for people to consume, safer in manufacture and disposal, and they're designed for compost, which is the sole aim of and commitment that my business has for being in existence. To give you an example of the metrics that we've can present to you that are quantitative, we've brought into Hawaii an equivalent of 85 40-foot high cube containers worth of compostable food service supply. That quantity of material is dense, packed material, which means you can imagine if that were composted, you would have 85 containers less of material should that have gone to the landfill, which plastic and styrofoam inevitably do. So that's the second point that I wanted to make today. And the third point is that this is a unique area in Hilo, aside from where we're located, the ocean and this beautiful place in Hawaii. Hilo itself is in a basin, and I lived in Kailiki Road when I first moved here, and I'd wake up very early in the morning, and every morning I was amazed to discover that there is a soup of pollution sitting over the entire Hilo basin. And that is a consequence of the wind patterns here in Hilo. We are a bay and a basin, and what goes into that basin at night, which nobody sees because it's dark and you can't look up into the sky to notice it, but what it goes into at night between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., that air sits, and in that air we have an airport, we have 3 bunker oil burning power plants which produce tremendous toxicity into the atmosphere. We have the cruise ships in the harbor. We have Ho'oponua power plant about to set up in Papakeo, which is going to be pumping more information into that system and pollution into that system. We have the bog, of course, which settles here. We have a quarry, which is creating rock dust contaminants in the air quality. And we're also the landfill. I don't know if too many people understand this or relate to it, but the landfill is centrally located above the top dead center of our aquifer. So any incinerator is going to have a 25% fly ash factor that has to be disposed of. That's going to go into an unlined landfill here in Hilo, and that's going to percolate straight into our aquifer, containing all of the dioxins and ash and everything else that's involved. I'll wrap this up with the final statement here that placing a waste incinerator in Hilo next to Hawaiian homelands is a social and environmental justice issue. It goes far beyond all the technology conversations and money and everything else that we're talking about. This is unfair to people.
Stephanie, are you timing?
Our next testifier is Jasper Moore.
Yes, hi, it's Jasper Moore.
Microphone, please. We cannot hear.
Hi, good. My name
Thank
is
you.
Jasper Moore, and I'm here to testify in favor of Bill 452-14. And thank you, Mr. Onishi, for joining us in the council chambers. Appreciate that. At least I feel like I'm talking to someone. To see that you may be paying attention. After hearing the testimony that I have, if you were not in favor of this bill before, you should be now. I'll have to say that the idea of an incinerator is really comical. As a child, my mom used to send me out to the backyard with the trash, and we would burn it in an incinerator. And our neighbors even had a very fancy one they had bought at Sears. It was a steel one. And then they made it illegal because it was toxic, and it was putting things in the air that we weren't supposed to breathe, like styrofoam and plastics and all of that kind of thing. So we weren't allowed to burn any longer. But now I hear the county is considering buying a very large incinerator to burn all of these things. And it just speaks to me of laziness, downright laziness. Laziness of the county council on not coming up with some fresh ideas in a very exciting time on the planet when there's innovations right and left. New thinking, ways of handling the rubbish that's being generated by our large corporations that bring most of this stuff to us. We didn't have this problem 30 years ago on the island. not until they start bringing everything in like they do. So it speaks of laziness. You can go down and throw your rubbish into the transfer station, and the person next to you may have their truck loaded with cardboard and glass, and they couldn't be bothered to stop over and throw it into the recycle. Is that what we're going to continue with the council? We're going to say that that's all right to be lazy? Do you want to be the last one in the world to buy one of these? Do you want to pay for it after it's no longer in use? What is exciting is recycling. And anything that can't be recycled on this island should not be brought here. Other counties have done that. Styrofoam is illegal in many places to use. So come on, let's get a little bit more fresh, Mr. Onishi, with our thinking. And if I see you're in favor of this, I'll understand why, because 90% of the time, you weren't listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie, how many more testifiers do you have now?
I have 3 more.
Okay.
Shall I?
Then keep, yes.
Our next testifier?
Very good.
I'm sorry, is Dave.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, council members. My name is David Hare, and I'm the president of Farm Share Organics. I operate...
Microphone, please. I don't think your microphone's on.
I'll restart your time.
Here we go. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and council members. My name is David Hare. I am president of Farm Share Organics. I'm a new resident here to Hilo. Back on the mainland, I operate several large composting facilities. And what I do is I make compost from green waste, cardboard, paper products, coffee grounds, food waste. I provide that compost free to local farmers. When local farmers use that compost, they grow about 30% more food. And my deal with my farmers is I ask that they donate a percentage of the additional food they grow to either a school lunch program or to a local food bank as a way to propose food security. I've been in the recycling, waste management, and composting business for 25 years. I spent the first 10 years of my career developing policy for municipal agencies on environmental issues, and the last 15 years running material recovery facilities and large-scale composting facilities. And I'm here today to actually not only support Resolution 452, but actually to congratulate you on proposing this resolution as someone from the mainland and someone who's been in this the solid waste industry for a long time. This resolution that you're talking about today really sticks with what you've done here in the past. You've done some incredible things here on the Big Island. Some of the great things that you've done, you've recycled, or you've banned the use of plastic bags. Your banning of plastic bags is serving as a model for the rest of the mainland. Everyone is sort of looking to the Big Island right now to see how that's coming along. So I want to congratulate on a model program there. You have an incredible green waste program. You have farmers who are using your green waste and turning it into compost. You have a model program that you've developed that the rest of the nation, again, is looking at you.
I'm sorry, we're going to stop your time. The caller has gone off, so you can go start it again. Can you pause? You should.
That was a great testimony. That's why I can't do this anymore.
I'll watch it.
Check 1, 2, 3.
On the playback.
Stephanie, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay, we had a problem on our side. We got disconnected. So stand by.
Okay.
She said they didn't have everybody to have. They might have jumped
She
to the
said she had
bathroom.
5.
They probably went to the bathroom.
Okay. They didn't get any of that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Still, the mics are on.
That's just my luck, right?
Jerry, how much you next time?
Off the testifiers, Mike and Hilo, please.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh,
Can you turn it off? No, yeah. They're gonna let him get they're gonna let us know. Yeah, but I'm not sure what.
Let him start over. He wasn't up for anything.
I'm at home with my wife,
To all sites, this is Kona. I just want to inform you that we'll be reconvening shortly.
That's a city call the county about anything. There's no one there to direct your call, there's no one, there's very little, it's hardly ever polite.
as a county, for you to have this system is pretty impressive. California wouldn't have this. I'm from Ventura County, and Ventura counties that can't make it to the county.
It's not acceptable for council people not to be in their chairs if there's testimony. It's not acceptable for them to be sitting outside talking with mates and you're talking with mates with people testifying. It's not acceptable. Tell the council, but don't run.
This guy's doing too many good things to turn around.
Can't take it too serious when he's upset.
Run a marathon, you're the last mile of the marathon, you just want to stop. Turn around.
Hi, Madam Chair. Just wanted to let you know in Kohala, we do have a testifier who came back in. Thanks.
Yay!
Is that Kohala? Oh, Kohala.
Here in Kohala.
Okay, I'll get to Kohala. Thank you. We're not out of recess yet.
Oh, I forgot my slave people and plantation mentality. Just a cartoon of us all just carrying rubbish to the incinerator, all this slave people. Each have to go out and start gathering rubbish so we can make sure we make our quota to get that incinerator. That's what they do, like generate more waste. Yeah, generate more waste. Everybody has to contribute your fair share of burnables.
That's why there's a decent incentive, right?
No, there's not, yeah.
There goes the amazing.
In fact, you'll have quotas, you need to bring in 50 pounds a day or else.
Thank you.
you're not- Put one on Precious table. Mr. Onishi.
Oh, wait.
Hey, you have that idea for it.
Is it 30, not 40? Oh, 30.
What's the outgoing on page 22nd?
Is it what? Developers have one piece on it.
Well,
Where can we sign? This sounds fantastic.
yeah, I don't see it, you can.
I'm a
Imagine if you
plantation.
bought a car like that. Well, we don't know exactly how much it's going to cost. We'll just see as we go.
I was a plantation worker.
Right? Plenty of credit up front, though. Don't worry about that.
A handshake in the back rooms.
Jeff, are we ready? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and resume testimony. And the person that was testifying from Hilo, we're going to go ahead and start you with you, and you can start over.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, council members. My name is David Hare. I'm a new resident to Hilo. I'm also the president of Farm Share Organics. I'm here today to speak on behalf of Resolution 452. I've been in the recycling, waste management, and composting business for the last 25 years. I spent the first 10 years of my career developing policy on environmental recycling and composting issues for municipal agencies. And I've spent the last 15 years of my career managing large-scale material recovery facilities and large composting facilities. I wanted to actually commend you for putting forth the resolution today because it seems to fall in line with some of the great things that you've already accomplished in the path of eliminating the need for an incinerator. Specifically, you have already banned the use of plastic bags, which is a model program for not only the state of Hawaii, but for the mainland also. You have an exceptional green waste program where you are separating and keeping green waste clean so we can make a clean compost feedstock. And lastly, you have a really great and innovative unofficial food waste program where most of the additional food waste that you're generating is staying out of the landfill by use of local farmers. With these three great things, you know, we were talking today about composting instead of incinerating. As somebody who has had experience in the composting business and have been running large facilities for the last 15 years, I can tell you that you've already set the foundation for success. When you're talking about composting this material and keeping it out of the landfill and making sure that it's not going to the incinerator, you have everything that you need to make that happen and successful. I think that one of the things that composting, that's incredible about composting, not only from a waste diversion perspective, is I've heard testimony today from others in the community island-wide who have talked about how they use compost for farming. Back on the mainland, one of my companies, Farm Share Organics, we provide free compost to local farmers. We compost green waste, coffee grounds, some food waste, some food processing waste. I give that free to local farmers. When local farmers use the compost, they grow 30% more food. And in exchange for receiving the free compost, my farmers agree to donate their higher crop yield to either a school lunch program or to a local food bank. So you have more than an opportunity here to divert material. You have everything you need and in place to do something great, and I hope you pass this resolution and continue on with the great work you've already done. Thank you.
Okay, our next testifier is Megan. I'm sorry, can you turn on the mic?
Aloha. My name is Megan, and I'm here to testify in favor of some fresh ideas around our waste stream issues and taking care of waste. And I'm definitively not in favor of an incinerator. It's really lovely to follow on behind David and hear really innovative testimony about what he's seen is possible for this island. And there are a lot of us who see possibilities on this island. And right now, I'd probably only give the efforts of Hawaii County to manage waste stream and recycle about a 2 out of 10. So there's a lot of room to grow and improve. When I go to take care of my waste, if it's unfortunate and I happen to time it at midday, I come across the county having closed the recycle, the general rubbish drop-off point while they have a lunch break. And these kind of things aren't incentives for people to take care of their waste. It just gets in the way of people trying to do the right thing. And just as another testifier has said, if the waste streams aren't, if there's not an encouragement for recycling, then that's a disincentive as well, because it takes a little effort, but it's something really that the community can grow with. And some of us wish for a really effective way to sort items from the waste stream that could have a repurposing value. And we wish that there were more efforts to separate the waste stream and salvage furniture, building materials, that kind of thing. I'm not in favour of an incinerator. I've said that already. I'll just close with a short little poem, and it's around what's wrong with an incinerator as a solution for our rubbish. It's only going to create toxic fumes in the air, and it's going to generate a toxic ash which has to be disposed of. So it's not a solution, it's just another point in the problem. Here's my poem, I'm closing with that, with a line. I shot some pollution into the air, and where it fell, I do not care. Definitely not in favour of the incinerator, and we'd like for some fresh, new ideas. Mahalo.
And last
Stephanie, do you have one?
testifier is Blake Watson.
Hello, Council, and thank you so much for hearing this resolution today. My name is Blake Watson, and I would like to first touch on my understanding of this proposed incinerator is that it'll cost an unknown price at the beginning, and we don't know exactly how much at the end. It relies on us to generate trash for 30 years. And when we are actually, as a county, from my understanding, going in a completely opposite direction. In 2008, we had a waste resolution that called for zero waste for Hawaii County. And that means working on if you can't recycle it, you shouldn't bring it to Hawaii. What we have here, we have to think of, and we already have thought of waste solutions for all of this. And to use an example, there's a store in Germany. It's probably the first well-known example of a package-free store. And so the idea is that you bring in your own containers and you fill out bulk bins and you don't have any packaging. It's kind of like how we used to do it before we had packaging over 100 years ago. And so you bring your own container, fill it up, bring it back. If you don't have one, you can get one at that store. And then it's 100 years ago when we first started having packaging. We also had vending machines that had little holes that forced people to throw away their trash because everybody was taking everything home because they're so used to saving everything. They had never thought of this idea of throwing things away. So this is, if we're going to go into a future that's sustainable and environmentally sound, we should not design this super fun project to accept the wrong paradigm. So I'd like to also mention that I heard that there's a baseline allowable limit of the EPA setting standards for as far as the amount of toxins that can come out of this plant, and also there's an exceeding that limit during so-called emergencies. You can have an exceeding amount of toxins being released, and they're allowed within this proposal to do that. Well, I grew up in Northern California next to the Russian River, right next to the Russian River, and they had the same thing with their same idea of a limit, and then we could go ahead and go extreme amounts during a certain, extreme times like a flood. So when the Russian River would flood, I'm referring to the sewer system. Okay, so the sewer system could just release a bunch of unfinished sewage into our river and say, well, we had to do it because it flooded. Well, that's a known flood zone river. It just always happened throughout the year many times throughout the year. I expect that would, if they have that clause, there's no reason to. Based on all the other incinerators and issues we've had around the country, that very same thing is going to happen here. So we don't need more toxins in our future, and also, having this thing set up in our future is setting us up for more toxins in our environment. And also, I'd like to touch on the RFP hearing that occurred, and it's my understanding that there were other potential possibilities, and they were not heard, and I believe just based on that, this RFP should be drawn, and a new hearing should be set, and we need to hear other ideas on how to deal with race. Thank you so much.
That was our last testifier for Hilo.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Sean, you said you had one more testifier in Kohala.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have Kunga Ogo here testifying in support of Resolution 45214.
Hi, my name is Kunga Ogle. I am a yoga teacher and meditation guiding person in North Kohala. I also do sustainable consulting for communities. And I'm here, I came to the Big Island to learn about farming, organic farming and permaculture, and how to better our planet with systems as far as recycling, growing amazing food, and sharing food with others. And I do not support the incinerator, and I don't feel like I need to say very much because I've been listening so deeply to everyone who has shared, and everyone has said such clear points that I don't need to say much. All I need to say is that I'm a future mother. I want to grow children here, and I want them to breathe in clean air. I also want to help guide people to breathe in the cleanest air, which is in Hawaii, I feel like. So I am in not support of the incinerator. I don't really need to say much, but thank you so much for listening to us and hearing our voices. I'm in support of 452 resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other testifiers in any of the outer sites? I have one more testifier in Kona. I'm just taking a quick check of the outer sites. I'm not hearing of any other testifiers.
Aloha.
Madam Chair.
Wait a second, wait, Fernando. Excuse me.
Sorry. Madam Chair, we do have one last testifier in Ka'u.
Okay. I'll testifier in Kona and then I'll go to Ka'u. So can you hang in there?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead now, Fernando.
Aloha, County Council members, Chair. My name is Fernando Salas, and I'm here in support of Resolution 452-14. And I have a question. If anyone knows how much waste that we need to clean out the island, and how much waste is there, like laboratory, toxicity, poisonous elements, any rubbish that is going to contaminate the other rubbish. But it comes to question, if we were to have an incinerator and we need to eliminate some of this toxicity, is there going to be enough toxicity to create power? You know, these are some of the questions that I overheard around some of the people's comments and stuff. So it's pretty clear to me that what is the value of garbage that needs to be burned? And how much power can we create with that garbage, you know, for the next 30 years? That's my comment. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ka'u.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have Anthony Colombo supporting Resolution 452-14. He is representing himself.
My name is Anthony Colombo. I'm a resident in Ocean View, Hawaii. I am in support of this resolution because I believe that this will open up the door for us to look at other multiple forms of energy, alternative energy sources, not just one, but this would help open that doorway where we could get all sorts of alternative options to try here. because the things we're using now obviously aren't working. We know this, so why are we gonna keep milking money into something and slamming our head against the wall? Why don't we look and see what's out there and try it? It's not gonna hurt nothing to try it. I mean, we've already done so much damage what we have now. We can't do any more just to see how it works. Yeah. Oh yeah, also the plasma technology is one that I believe that we should look into. It is very clean use, safe, and we have plenty of stuff here that we could burn down to create that plasma energy. So I hope you guys would take this into consideration and look into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all the testifiers we have from Pa'u.
Okay, I think that we've heard from all of the testifiers today, so we're going to move on to the order of resolutions, and I'd like to, I had a request to take resolution 452 out of order, if that's okay here. Okay, then, Mr. Clerk, can you please read resolution 452-14?
Resolution 452-14 urges the administration to withdraw request for proposal number 3044 and